friend of mine, Carlos Gila, last week was talking about business, about life, and he said something that struck a chord with me. He said, the warning signs are there for at least 3 years before every disaster. Whether it's a business disaster, a team disaster, a relationship disaster. He said, if you look, you'll find that there were warning signs for at least 3 years. But warning signs that the person didn't react until it was crisis. And the metaphor that he used to explain what you need to do to get ahead of this cycle in life is, he said, back in the old days of coal mining, the miners brought a canary in a cage down into the mines with them. And the canary they brought down into the mines not to listen to the singing, not to have a pet to keep them company, but if there was a buildup of dangerous gases in the mine, the bird would stop singing and fall in their cage, and this was a signal that it's time to get out of the mine. There's a dangerous buildup of gases and you're going to suffocate unless you move. The miners, each one used the canary so that they would see the warning signs and be able to react in enough time to ward off the disaster. And Carlos asked each of us, what are our canaries? What are our canaries in work, in our relationships with our kids? What are the warning signs that when you see this warning sign, it will trigger you to take it seriously, to say, something needs to change here. The way I am being, the way I am acting is going to lead in some time in the future to disaster. So my reflection this week, what are your canaries in your work? What are the signs that if you see them, it's time to get out of your office and do something different? What's the canary in your family, that there's a sign that someone is starting to be unhappy, not get what they need in the relationship? What are your canaries in health? Do you have a regular checkup where you can see indicators starting to go outside of the healthy bounds and be able to take action in your diet, in your exercise before disaster hits? And I do think this idea that success is about being able to pick up these warning signs earlier. Vern Harnish, one of the things he talked about, a lot of successful entrepreneurs that he's seen is they've been able to see patterns faster than the competition. So it's again this idea of what are they looking at, what information are they seeing, what are the signs they've decided that if I see this sign, we must change, something interesting is going to happen. I heard a recent Tim Ferriss podcast. I don't remember the guest, but the guest was an expert advisor to hedge funds, and he talked about the most important phrase that he can hear is when someone says, this doesn't make any sense. And he says when he hears somebody say, this doesn't make any sense, he gets very excited, because that means there's going to be an opportunity for an investment, an opportunity there. We don't know what's going on, but we do know that the current mental models, the current way of working of this particular worker, this particular world is about to change. So for him, the canary that tells him to explore deeper, to investigate, is when someone says, hang on, this doesn't make any sense. So the question for you, what signals are you paying attention to? What signals will trigger you to investigate deeper and to make changes? What's the canary in your coal mine? IESE Madrid. I'm at the campus of the IESE Business School here in Madrid, part of a pine forest out in the outskirts of Madrid. Always good. Come, walk in the forest, listen to the birds singing. And I teach here about 8 kilometers to the west of the city of Madrid.